In this video, we are going to learn how to make a fishbone stitch. There are 3 different leaves that we have on our practice kit here, but we're going to look primarily at this top leaf right here. But I will hit on these leaves later on the video. If you need to get to that point, go ahead and look at the timestamps below. But to start on our first basic leaf, what you're going to do is bring your needle up through the back at the tip of your leaf. Make sure you're really hitting that tip so that later when you finish stitching, your leaf has a nice point at the top. Now you're going to bring your needle about 1/4 of the way down from your leaf, right in the middle. Now what we're going to do is pretty much go from the left to the middle, right to the middle, left to the middle, right to the middle, over and over and over again, following the pattern of the leaf. So I'm going to start here on the left. I'm going to follow that tracing that I did, again making sure I go down far enough that I'm giving my leaf a nice point at the top. So I'm going to come up and then I'm going to go right below that middle stitch. You don't want to go in the same hole, but just right below it. If you go down too far, you're going to end up having a gap between your stitches and you don't want that. Now I'm going to do the same thing but on the right side. Bring that needle up low enough from the tip so that you keep the look of the tip. And then I'm going to bring it right below that previous stitch. Again, not in the same hole, but just right below it. And we're going to continue this all the way down the leaf. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Now, as we get here towards the end, you might need to share a few stitches at the bottom so that you can not run into your stem here. So let me show you here. I might have to do 1 or 2 more stitches here in this spot. So I'm going to do 1 here, go over on my right side. I don't think I'll be sharing quite yet. It looks like it'll be these next 2 stitches. So here at the end, I have probably 1 more stitch here on the left, and I'm going to share right there at the bottom because we want to make sure it comes in at the bottom and not having one side too long. So I'm going to share right there at the bottom. And then I'm going to look and see if I want to do here 1 more on the right, and I do. And I'm going to share that in the bottom as well. Now, a lot of times with my fishbone stitches that are leaves specifically, I have a stem coming out of them, and I like to bring that stem into the middle of the fishbone. So what that looks like in some of the designs that I have is coming up at the bottom of your stem, and this is using a straight stitch, but it's a part of what I use for the fishbone, so we're going to include it here. And then you're just going to go up towards the middle of your fishbone and bring it down. And then it gives that nice little look of a stem. A lot of times I like to do this in a different color, but for this example, we're just going to stick with the same color. Now our fishbone leaf over here is more like a eucalyptus leaf. It's the same thing. You do the exact same thing. Nothing is different than here. It's just a rounder shape. You're still following that same pattern of going half or about 1/4 of the way into your leaf and then going left, right, left, right, left, right until you've completed the whole thing. Now our leaf here on the side that's a little more angled, it might require a few more stitches on the left at the same time or a few more stitches on the right. So for example, we're going to make our first stitch here, 1/4 of the way down. I'm I'm going to start my first stitch. It's going to seem weird that you're going so far down, but you want to follow that line and not come right next to the leaf. I'm going to go just below that first stitch. And now I'm going to come to the right, and I'm going to be a little bit higher. And now from this point, I've obviously filled in a little more on the left than I have on the right. So I'm going to make a second stitch on the right rather than going right back to the left. So I'm going to come right below that first or third stitch, whatever number it is at this point. And I'm going to do another stitch on the right. Okay, so that's even things up for me. So now I'm going to go back to the left, and I should at this point be able to keep going left, right, left, right, left, right until I'm done. But a lot of it is a judgment call, and you have to, as you're stitching, think, okay, it looks like I need a few more stitches here on the left, or it looks like I need a few more here on the right. And if you feel like it does, then go ahead and just do that and make those extra stitches. Now with this leaf that is slanted like this, when you make that stitch for the stem, if it is going into the leaf, you want to make sure you're not going quite as high, because you want to make sure that you're not creating an awkward line that doesn't make sense for a leaf. So for example, like if I was to go all the way up here, that's where my stitch would be, and that would look strange. So you want to go just a little bit lower than you did for what would have been a more normal leaf shape. Now again, for this more eucalyptus style leaf, you're going to be doing the same thing you did here. If you are stitching it though in the process and you think you do need to do a few more stitches on the left, then rather than going left, right, then do that. A lot of the fishbone stitching is kind of up to your judgment of where you think you need to be adding maybe extra stitches, or just continuing with the normal pattern of a left stitch and a right stitch. So that is how we make a fishbone stitch. If you like this video and want to learn more embroidery, be sure to subscribe to our channel.